I want to do a podcast about films.
I'm not stopping you.
No, with you, you fool.
Oh, so you mean you want us to do a podcast about films?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say that?
I did. I am.
Well, you can't say films. You need to say movies. It's a more broadly recognised term.
Yeah, don't worry about that now. Are you interested?
We can't just talk about films we like. That would be boring.
Okay, then what about films we don't like?
That sounds even more boring.
Okay, how about this? Films we disagree on.
Ah, intriguing. So one of us likes it, the other one doesn't, and we discuss our opinions on the film?
I think you mean movie.
Yeah, don't worry about that now.
But yeah, that's the gist of it.
All right, I'm in.
Great.
Could still be boring, though.
You're boring.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Should we do one now? Hello and welcome to Movie the Needle. My name's Simon and I'm joined by my good friend Carl. And this week we will discuss our opposing viewpoints on the 1982 sci-fi horror about a group of American researchers in Antarctica battling an alien life form able to assimilate and perfectly imitate humans, making it impossible to know who is really human and who is not. Paranoia and conflict ensues. It's John Carpenter's The Thing. Oh, we're on. Hi, Carl. You didn't give me the thumbs up. I was very confused.
No, I also thought about just fading this in mid-conversation as well as a way of bringing it in. So,
yeah. Well, you know.
But we'd still have to start talking. For
yeah. Always good to tell me whichever it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, how are you?
Well, not brilliant, to be honest, mate.
Oh, well, start on a downer. Okay, go on.
This is how old and decrepit I am. So this morning, woke up.
Good start.
Yeah, it was handy.
Mm-hmm. You got to worry when you don't. I find.
I still had the missus ringing me at 8:20, going, "Are you up?" She doesn't usually do this. So I'm like, yeah. So, oh, well, you've just not looked at your phone. It's like, all right. Well, which I also don't every morning. It's not like I always.
That's a very good, healthy habit. Well done. Well, I do not have that habit.
Hang on. Let me qualify that. Looking at my phone. What she means is, have I looked at WhatsApp?
You're right.
Yeah, I definitely will have looked at my phone at some point. So I don't always look at WhatsApp. Because, you see the notifications pop up and everything. Sure. There's nothing.
It's just the wife. Ignore.
Well, I don't even think she's messaged me. She said...
How'd she know then?
Are you up? Because you can just go on, can't you? And it says last seen.
Last seen. Okay, right. She's just found different ways to stalk you. Okay, cool.
Perhaps. Say, are you up? Yeah. All right, you haven't looked at your phone. Well, what did you think? Like for all the other days, has she just been wondering? Oh, I wonder if the kids got to school. Anyway, so I woke up, which went down well with all, as we've established. Mm-hmm. And I did a bloody big yawn.
I wonder where this is going.
I've hurt my back.
You've hurt your back yawning.
I've hurt my back yawning, and I've been fucking... Well, agony's overstating it a bit, but I've been very uncomfortable all day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've
hence why I asked you to get between my legs before this recorded.
Sure, I mean, I was down on my knees.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. Whatever I can do to help the pain.
So it was nice that you stepped up and did that for me. Thank you.
I mean, I have history with the old back injury doing.
You got it straight in as well, didn't you? No warm up, just in one.
You know me,
Yeah, clearly not your first time.
Grabbed it in my hand.
Yeah.
Sorted it out.
Straight in there, yeah. No lovely.
It's not my first time.
No.
I've got experience.
Right, sorry. Go on.
But I also have experience of hurting your back doing a very innocuous things. And when people ask you, like, oh, how do you do your back? Expecting some heroic, like...
Pulling children out of a burning building.
Yeah, I know. Sporting injury of some description. It's like, oh, no, put my seatbelt on the car.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Getting into the car and out of the car, that's been a common one as well. Reaching for something, that can be
It's really annoying as well, because it was such a good yawn. When you're like, I'm so stretched, I can feel the endorphins hitting, and then, oh, no, I've gone too far. This is it. So you got cocky. Got cocky with the yawn. Didn't reel it in. Didn't reel it in when I should have done. So there we go. What about you?
Well, we've had to rearrange this podcast, haven't we? Recording. Mm-hmm. We usually do it on the old Monday night. We're doing it on a Tuesday night.
Yeah. Blame Sky TV.
Priorities out of order again, Carl.
Yeah.
I'm to rearrange for a Leeds match. a Leeds match.
I blame Sky, mate. Sky TV is fucking shit.
But I have calculated that this episode will be airing after the playoff semi-finals, right? So I know I've mentioned this, so we're not dated. I feel like we need to maybe record multiple versions of this section. We can just play the right one that comes in, so it'll look like we're right up to date with things. Okay, so you ready? Okay, right.
Okay.
Oh, wow, I can't believe Leeds bottled it and ended up in the playoffs and lost. You must be so angry right now.
Leeds that.
Wow, I can't believe Leeds made it to the playoff final. You must be so nervous right now.
Leeds that.
Wow, I can't believe Leeds didn't bottle it and got automatic promotion. You must be so relieved right now.
There's no point recording that one.
Wow, I can't believe Leeds won the league. You must be so happy right now.
I mean, for some bizarre reason, I feel like that's more likely than we sneak up in second. And it's been such a fucking batshit season.
So if you can just say, yes, I am, then we can just paste that in.
With all that was good, wasn't it? Enjoyed that, yep.
Cool. Nailed it. Right, I think we're really getting the hang of this podcasting malarkey. Seamless, that. So now we'll be all set, regardless of how Leeds managed to screw it up. We'll be sorted. What films have you been seeing this week?
I think it's nothing again besides this.
Slipping again. Back to your old ways.
Do you know, I realised I haven't even been logging them, so...
So you could have seen loads, you just can't remember with your old man brain.
I logged a TV movie, which I probably didn't mention in the last week or two, The Beast. No, I think I did mention The Beast, actually. Peter mentions The Beast. It's about a giant squid rather than a shark.
I don't think you mentioned it on the pod.
Movie. Okay, yeah.
No, last time we spoke to, I think it was your submarine phase.
Yeah, I think The Beast actually came before that. I just realised the other day I forgot to log it. So I logged that today, actually. It's kind of a fun TV movie.
Did you watch something with a tank in as well? I'm sure we were talking about
tank.
Something.
No, I don't think so. No
okay.
Tank. Started to collect my thoughts to finally review and log Wolf of Wall Street,
right.
And then didn't even get to that.
I'm way behind on your reviewing on Letterboxd as well. I'm trying to remember to at least log that I've watched them and
do the review later.
Do it in a moment of creativity and inspiration when I'm feeling words are right there.
Oh, I don't think you should wait for that. I think
it'd be a long wait.
Yeah, I think you just need to crack on. And
so the only thing I've seen this week is Amsterdam, which
yes,
seen.
Go on.
So I finally got around to seeing that. I'm struggling to actually decide what I think about it. Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
We already talked about the cast. I mean, wow, just the list goes on, right? I mean, it's impressive. Bale is great, I would say.
Yeah, I liked him in that.
I think I might actually love him. I think I keep thinking of all the films I like him in, and there's quite a few. So very impressed with him in that.
Yeah.
There was like this weird, it seemed like a very odd style. And I don't know enough to really communicate what that is.
Well, that much is fucking clear.
Almost, but almost came across at times almost a bit Wes Anderson-y.
Yeah, I think I made reference to Wes Anderson in my review as well.
Oh God, we've aligned. This is worrying.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be the end of the podcast if we start agreeing with each other.
I'm saying that. I'll check. Here we go. I said I actually liked the way it looked.
Yeah. There was just some of the way that the lines were delivered, and did they just leave? It's just left hanging for ages, and there's kind of like there's those beats where they just kind of everyone's just looking at each other.
I didn't explicitly call Wes Anderson out, but in my review, but I definitely had that same thought. One of the things I've said is that the quirkiness felt self-indulgent to me rather than actually of any substance, which is a problem I have with most Wes Anderson films as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's not usually a problem with this director. It's not his style.
What's his name? David O. Russell. What else has he done?
Russell, yeah. The Silver Linings Playbook.
You've not seen it.
Fight?
American Hustle. I've seen that.
Is that?
Yeah, The Fight. I've not seen that.
All right. You say American Hustle.
I've seen American Hustle. I mean, that was okay. I've seen Three Kings a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, was that him?
That's him, yeah.
Yeah, but none of that, and I don't remember them being particularly quirky or weird or anything.
American Hustle, maybe, but not like that. I wouldn't have said like this, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think I enjoyed it. I don't know. I'm just not really sure if it's good. not immediately, not anytime soon. But if it was stumbled across it, and maybe.
Yeah, and I don't think I would, and I think it's failed because it's quite long. It's not really. I mean, it's 2 hours 15 minutes, so it's not the longest film ever, but it's quite long. I didn't like the pacing, and to say it's a mystery, it's like a murder mystery, right? A detective sort of mystery, whatever you want to say. Not a murder mystery. That's misleading, but. There's a mystery element to it. To say it's that, I definitely didn't get it and understand it the first time. Now, usually with those films, I go, oh yeah, that's worth a rewatch. And I think this one's failed because I just think, nah.
Yeah, I don't think
wasn't good enough to warrant.
Yeah, I don't think that was its main aim. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the tagline is "Let the love, murder, and conspiracy begin."
Well, that's marketing, though, isn't it? They don't know anything. We know this. But anyway, I think that's the only thing I've seen apart from The Thing this week.
What thing?
The Thing.
Big thing, is it? What are you talking about?
I should have known.
I don't know. It's not a lot of legs in this, is there? Let's move on.
But what we have coming up later...
There's a lot of legs in The Thing.
Yeah, so we've got a bit of an unusual top three coming at the end, which I'm pretty looking forward to at the end of the show. So
bit of a twist.
That should be good. But before we get to that, we have our usual reveal of the beer.
Right.
So this is a beer related to The Thing somehow.
It's related to The Thing.
Mm-hmm. The bag is being unzipped for audio listeners.
So, this film, at the time, lauded for its practical effects over special effects, over VFX or whatever you want to say.
Panned overall, wasn't it? And generally, this film.
No, not really. I don't think critically it was badly received. It definitely was a box office flop. But I don't think it was critically
E.T.'s fault that.
Badly received. That's sort of what they say, isn't it? Like it was wrong timing and all the rest of it. But the practical effects, it really got props for. And actually, if you rewatch the 2011 remake / prequel...
was it a / prequel?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just a straight out remake.
Well, I won't ruin it too much.
I mean, I think they did a good job of that, didn't they?
There might be other people out there, Simon, that actually want to watch it.
No, I suppose there are other people who listen to this.
Yes.
A few.
For that, they used a lot of CGI. And the lovers of the original fucking hated that.
Yeah, sure.
So, sticking with doing things properly.
Sure.
How do you feel about the beer Proper Job?
Proper Job?
It's
fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, here we have a Proper Job. Wait! This isn't a Proper Job, this is an assimilation.
Is this an Aldi special?
Yes. Right. We've got Aldi's Proper Job. And instead
IPA.
of a powerfully hoppy IPA, we've got a proper hoppy IPA.
so I like it as assimilation. Okay. Well,
yeah.
You couldn't have brought the Aldi Elvis juice, the Memphis.
That was my first thought. I thought, well, I'll get one of these Brewdog assimilations.
Which are brilliant.
Yeah, but you said this last week.
I did.
Maybe off the pod, but you said, I bought this. I thought that'll be shit, won't it? If I rock up with a beer that he's got in his fridge.
Oh, good stuff. Well, let's get this on. Whilst we're cracking these open, because I didn't bring an opener with me, but I will go get one.
Never go anywhere without one.
Excellent. Do we have any apologies or corrections, legal or otherwise, from previous weeks?
All right. Well, I've got. I've got an easy apology first.
Oh, good. Is it to me?
And then I've got a correction, which I think will provide a platform for you to make an apology.
Oh no!
And then, if that's as fruitless as I expect it to be, I have a question for you to carry on a little bit of the discussion around how we sort of consume and think about films. So that was quite an interesting, quite an interesting angle that way.
All right, go for it.
So, the straight up apology. Having just listened a little bit to the pod we recorded last week, I think we probably need to apologise to the Irish for doubling down on their silly names being silly.
Comfortable with it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, I didn't expect that to be too fruitful either. But all right. So the correction. So last week we discussed Wolf of Wall Street.
We did.
I had mention. I was going to say again.
At length.
At length, indeed. Yes. And we're going to carry on today. Right. No. So I had mentioned that I struggled to get into it a little bit because I didn't like the way it portrayed Belfort.
Sure.
Now you dismissed that with you'd have to be pretty dumb to think that this film was glamorising Belfort.
Sure.
Now I've done some reading.
Oh.
And judging by the sheer volume of Reddit commentary and indeed newspaper articles from critics, that's a lot of people, fans and critics alike, that are dumb because there was quite the outcry at the time.
Comfortable with it.
Yeah, I like it. Look, I called it. What can you say? But the clincher was, I found an interview with Scorsese that said he wasn't interested in doing a film about Wall Street because he doesn't know that world. Well, fucking, you're telling me, mate. That much was obvious. But no, what he said was the reason he decided to do the film, he found this in because he was attracted to the idea of when good people do bad things and they have to numb the pain with booze and drugs.
Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, does he?
Well, that's interesting. I wonder which way you were going to go. You've decided to double down and chuck Scorsese under the bush instead. So my point being, there was definitely a case to answer with that, and many, many people thought so. Probably shouldn't have been quite so easily just dismissed out of hand.
So
however,
he's saying that Belfort basically...
We put him in the movie as well, don't forget.
Yeah. He basically abused drugs and things because he was so guilty with what he was doing. I'm not sure that's come across, Marty, I'll be honest.
Well, you say... No, I don't think that bit came across either, but I definitely think the film was guilty of glamorising him a bit.
So
Anyway.
I do feel that directors and actors get interviewed so much, they start just talking. And you can get quotes from saying anything. They're just bored.
Yeah,
They'll just start trying out.
Anyway, that wasn't the thing because, as expected, this avenue is fruitless too.
The thing is this week.
The thing is
this week.
All right, very good. So, question for you then about how you sort of consume and think about films. Do you ever, when you are, and Amsterdam might be a prime candidate for this, do you ever sort of
take drugs,
try a bit of reading or whatever? This podcast doesn't count, but basically find somebody who disagrees with you to sort of...
I don't need to. I literally talk to you.
Well, no, again, this podcast doesn't count. To say, well, what am I missing? So I really like this film, but what am I missing? Or vice versa. I can't see why everybody liked this. What am I missing? Is that part of the way you sort of consume and think about movies?
Not generally, because I'm very easily led, Carl. So I could probably have an opinion,
right?
Which it's rare in itself.
3 hours post film, you're just crying in a puddle of your own tears. The wife's going, "What's the matter?" I just don't know what to think anymore.
I read these things and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's true," and then read something else. "Oh, that's true too." Oh, I'm just in the middle. I'll just be ambivalent on everything because I could see both sides. Because I am, what's the word when you can see both sides of the story? You're
naive. You lack conviction
to a fault. Whatever it is, to a fault, and it's irritating.
It's all right. This, by the way.
Do you want a glass? Sorry,
I'm all right with the bottle. Thanks.
Okay, fine. Just put that back then. So no, I don't tend to. I'm obviously doing that more for podcast purposes to maybe see what I'm missing and go a bit deeper than my shallow perspective.
Well, you said it. I mean,
but generally no.
Because I do. I always, and this is mostly as a result
after you've formed you kind of go, I kind of...
Well, it varies by the film. So sometimes I won't quite know. And I will do that reading and go, oh yeah, no, that I see, yes, so that bit resonates with me. And then sometimes I go, no, I didn't see that. But sometimes it'll be... Honestly, sometimes I'll think, well, I absolutely love this film, and it's not very. Have I got this wrong? And so sometimes I'll look, but it's more a result of me doing the reviews right on Letterboxd. So I always go out and look at the points of disagreement. But I will say I have found that to be a really interesting experience in terms of just carrying on how you think about that film.
Yeah. I think the only level that I go to is and again, it's a very shallow process, but having a rating in my head, whether it be out of 10 or out of 5, and then seeing generally where that sits in the mass average, whether that be on IMDb or Letterboxd or film reviews or whatever, and see if you are largely in step with it or you're out either way. And I think, annoyingly, most of the time, I kind of revert to the average of what people think, more or less.
Average.
Bit up, I'm happy with it. I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah, take that as a win. Yeah. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah. Any more corrections? Any more apologies? I mean, there weren't any apologies there. Just
no, we're not any apologies. I mean, I've tried twice there, but we've not got either of them over the line, have we?
I'm trying to be stronger in my views, and that to me means being stubborn and pig-headed and just sticking to your guns, regardless of when all the facts point that you should definitely backpedal and apologise.
You go down fighting.
I'm basically warming up to be a politician.
Yeah, fair enough, right? Is this the kids' football taking hold? What's going on here?
That's it. Becoming an egomaniacal dictator.
Yes,
that's the plan. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this week we are talking about The Thing, the 1982 version, not the 2011 remake/prequel, as you, I'm going to say correctly pointed out. I'm assuming it's correct. I didn't look. But before we do, a reminder of our ratings for those new to the pod. So, a simple 5-point scale. You really dislike it? No. You really don't like it? Jesus, that simple. You can't even remember it, Simon. Yeah. Well done. Yeah. Excellent. So you really don't like it, you don't like it, you're ambivalent, you like it, or you really like it. So, where do you sit on this film, Carl?
I like this film.
Okay, I don't like this film.
2 degrees.
2 degrees.
2 degrees of disagreement.
Disagreement there. So, do you want to go fast with why you like it, and then I'll... Do
you want to go fast or do you want to go first?
Well, you definitely don't want to go fast.
One of those is wishful thinking.
Yes.
No, I tell you what, I am short and sharp this week. No. So the first time I watched this, yes, tight 10 minutes. I gave a best man speech once, and I was very proud of my opening joke, which is I know the bar doesn't open until after all the speeches, but I want you to know that I've practiced and I've got this down to a tight 90 minutes.
Nice.
It went down very well. Anyway, I watched this first time and I did like it. But I didn't necessarily think it was very good. I think it only rated it like 2.5. The second time, not only did I like it, and probably a little bit more, I actually think it's quite good, which we will obviously discuss. I think it's a really well put together film. I think obviously some of the practical effects have aged. Not all of them, but some of them have aged. Which I don't think we should hold against it. We can have a discussion about how much they should be used and whatnot. But why I like this film, I do not identify with this film as a horror. I know that typically it is described as such, and it has a big following as such. That's not how I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a mysterious, tense, psychological thriller about trust and relationships, and I enjoyed it very much.
Okay. So, big disclaimer, I guess, is that I am not generally a big fan of horror.
Me neither, the shite.
Yeah. So I can
just alienate, 15% of the audience with that.
I can appreciate a good horror, though. One that uses the usual tropes, but to good effect and effective, and it's actually well acted, and there is some level of characters that you give a shit about. And if you don't give a shit about the characters, it makes it a lot less effective in terms of the tension. And I think that is, for me, the primary reason why I found I didn't like The Thing, was that actually I didn't really care whether they died or not, or who the thing was or not the thing, because it came down to, I don't know, I just didn't care. We are going to talk at length about a lot of good things in this. You've mentioned some of them there. And I think it's interesting you say as well about the not treating it as a horror, more of a, what do you say, a psychological
thriller
thing. I saw the main comparison piece to this to be Alien. Quite a similar high level setup and premise. And I think in comparison to Alien, if I have been doing that comparison, and I think that's where it's kind of a a little bit of a shadow as an overall movie compared to that. Now we can talk, and I'm sure we will, about each of the different sections, and I'm quite open on this one. I would say, Carl.
Oh. Is there a moving of the needle in the offing?
I think there's potential with this one. Yeah, for sure.
You fucking tease.
I know, right? All right, let's move on to the cast.
I really like this podcast, by the way, because I realised today...
It's good. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, but not for the reason you think. I realised today that every week you have to wrestle with whether you're going to say cast or cast.
And it's quite difficult.
And then after it, because you've corrected yourself more than once as well. He's probably going to be worrying about that in the run up to it. He's probably going to be thinking about it as he's saying it.
I'm just a ball of anxiety.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I really enjoy it. Cool. And I enjoyed that today. You weren't even saying it. I was just like, he's going to have to say cast later.
Let's get on to the cast. So I'm going to start. General point. I didn't love the cast.
Okay.
I don't have...
You're not a Kurt Russell fan. What's going on here?
No, well, there's more than Kurt Russell in this movie.
There certainly is, yeah.
I didn't love the cast. I think generally, and I'm talking generally, it's a weird, it's a bit of a strange collection of actors, and as an ensemble, I struggled. It kind of comes back to the part I came back to of caring about the characters, and I think some of that has to do with the level of acting and the style of acting in it, which didn't get me that connection to them and make me care. Some of the early reaction scenes that they do, where they're seeing some weird shit, let's face it, so understated. It's weird. Like it's oddly delivered reactions. In that it seems like they're reacting to something different to what we're being shown on screen. But that I just wanted to get that out of the way, that generally not a fan, with the exception of Kurt Russell, who I thought actually in this was pretty good.
Whoa! Actually, in this, that's veiled. What's going on here?
It's not really how I intended to say it.
Wash your mouth out.
I don't think I've seen Kurt Russell in that many things though.
Well, you only need to really watch the Christmas Chronicles. What a don he is in that.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
What an absolute don he is in that. Yeah, so, I mean, you take everything you just said, flip it round 180, and that's what I think. No, okay. So, I mean, I'm going to talk about this in the production. I know we always have a bit of bleed over between these sections. Yeah. But I actually quite like a lot of how understated it was. I mean, I suspect a lot of the stuff, they actually weren't seeing what we were seeing. I expect a lot of that's been done after different days or after the fact or whatever. Possibly, yeah. So yeah, maybe that's sort of thing. But I like that it was a bit of an eclectic mix. I liked how understated a lot of it was. I'm not talking specifically about the reactions to what they were seeing, but certainly the interactions with each other. Because I thought that was quite a mature approach to it. I feel like if this film's made today, these characters all become like louder, and they've got to get across, well, he's the cynic, he's the spooky one, he's the...
Yeah, I mean, there are much quieter stereotypes, but still pretty...
Well, of course, right, but, where do these stereotypes come from? They come from, like, films doing the same sort of thing over and over.
True,
yeah. And I feel like I really enjoyed how understated it was. I felt it was a lot more real in that sense. I've only really called out 3 of the cast. And I didn't write the actor's name, but with one more exception, which was the character of Clark. I thought he was good as understated weird, which made for a nice red herring.
So this is one of the problems that I've got. I watched this film 3 days ago.
Right.
I really struggle to remember any of the characters' names, anything much about them. I got very confused between them during the watching in terms of they kind of melded into one, which for this type of movie where actually keeping track of who is who and who's doing what, it could be quite a major major part of it if you're trying to,
Yeah, I understand. I'll tell you why that wasn't a problem for me later on in the plot. Okay. So Clark, just to round that out, is the bearded
guy, one?
Yeah,
with the dogs.
He's told to go get the dogs, and they end up suspecting him from the start because he's weird. He's acting weird, and actually, by the time they test his blood after he's dead, he was fine. Yeah. So let's start with Russell.
Yeah, McCready, Mac.
Yeah, how good does it look? By the way, bit younger, beard.
Yeah, very jealous of the ability to grow any sort of hair, let alone.
And he's got it in spades
everywhere.
Spades is the guy.
Imagine he looks like he's wearing a sweater when he takes off. A sweater? Yeah. Where am I from? Wow, did that come out of my mouth?
Well,
American.
Yeah, very American.
Woolly jumper. There we go.
Woolly jumper.
That's more British, right?
Yeah, that's definitely more British. A pullover? You like a pullover?
Oh, no, that doesn't sound right. That wouldn't.
My dad used to say pullover.
I mean, sweater's definitely not right. That's just odd.
No.
Jumper is probably that is as close as I would get. Anyway, yeah.
I thought he did a very decent job.
I think he got better as the film went along as well. And I know films aren't recorded in order, so that could be very much just how I'm consuming it. And but he seemed to grow into it, or maybe he just became more central. To the whole thing and his general sort of charisma.
I think it fits with his character arc though, because
true.
His character arc is on this slow descent to despair, basically. And I thought we know he can be that sort of maverick. That's just the energy he brings. But then he was able to change gears and be that leader and really drive everything on. I liked him. I thought he was good in this. Who else have you got?
So I've got Gary Eyebrows.
Brimley.
Gary Eyebrows. I don't know what it's.
Wilfred J. Brimley.
Blair. A walking set of eyebrows. No, Gary.
Gary.
The guy who shoots someone in the face, like with his first thing, and he's.
Oh, I don't even know which one that is.
A guy called Gary, who's tied to a couch and has a really good.
Oh, the captain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gary.
Okay, yeah. You get his name? The actor's name?
Gary Eyebrows.
Well, right. Okay. Yeah. Gary Eyebrows.
That's all I've got. Yeah. He was just a walking.
Okay, why did you want to call him out?
Because he had
he's got walking eyebrows, right? Okay. Yeah.
The only other character, which I'm guessing you haven't talked about, was Windows.
Oh, because he's got a funny name again, is it?
Well, yes, but the backstory about why he's got a funny name.
Okay, go on.
Interesting. So, a couple of things. I wrote in my notes when I was looking back. I wrote Windows death scene. And I literally spent an hour going, Windows death scene? Was there a death scene involving some windows? What was I talking about? It took me ages to realise that was a character, remember that there was a character called Windows. And I don't know why I struggled to remember the names of these characters and associate with them. But anyway, so Windows was originally named Sanchez. But then they obviously...
He couldn't play a Sanchez.
Exactly, yeah. They hired an actor who's very much not a Sanchez.
Yeah.
Thomas Waits.
Hang on a minute. We shouldn't miss an opportunity. What do you mean by
that? He's more of a Garcia.
Why? I
don't know. Leave me alone.
All right. Okay. Go
on. So he's called the actor's called Thomas Waits.
Mm-hmm.
Full sentence, all star, like it.
Yeah.
So
you're a big fan of that.
We talked about this before.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was renamed Sanders.
Yeah. Okay. He could definitely play Sanders.
Yeah. However,
the Colonel.
However, when the actor showed up during rehearsals, he was wearing sunglasses, and he said to John Carpenter, "I want everyone to call me Windows from now on."
Oh, what a prick!
Fucking actors! What is wrong with them?
What a prick!
They've actually got a disease.
Yeah.
And then he's actually gone like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Fair play. He played a prick in the film as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just anyway. But yeah, my main point was that I struggle to remember all of the characters, and I think some of that comes down. There's just too many. It doesn't need to be 12. Cut it down to 8.
Well,
we'll get
8 will be fine. I see your point. But I've got some thoughts on that. Right, David something.
Wait, he's called David?
No, he's called something David in real life. His character name's Childs, not David Childs. I thought I've seen him in a few things. I thought he was pretty good, brash, menacing. I thought he was a really good presence.
Yeah,
a nice foil for Mac.
A couple of dodgy acting moments towards the start, I felt, but warm to his performance, and yeah, as you say, a nice little whatever you said, offset
foil.
Said,
yeah,
sure, that's better. Let's go with that. Yeah, I liked him, and one of those recognisable actors where you're like, I'm sure I've seen him in lots of things. Couldn't name you one.
He was in The Quick and the Dead. I know that much.
Yeah.
The other guy I've got is that Wilford J. Brimley, I think he is, who played Blair. Great Tash.
Struggled again to differentiate Blair and Doc.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So Blair's obviously the scientist guy who's sort of trying to figure it out. I think he had the hardest gig in terms of acting, and I thought he was very good. I thought he was serious and sort of ponderous at the start,
crazy and
and then he has to deliver that sort of explosion when it basically he has a breakdown, and I liked it a lot. That character is the one he's the one that's trapped with this. They're all looking to him to figure it out and tell them what's going on, and then obviously he realizes the weight of it, and he realizes the only thing to do is to do what he does, and he's not even in a helpless way. Breakdown's maybe underselling it. He's like, at that moment, he's extremely decisive. He's like, I've seen what this is. There is only one thing to do here.
Let's not do it.
Well, no, he does do it. He goes to say, we cannot, nobody can leave this place.
Let's all just wander around on our own.
So I thought he had a tough gig. I liked him. I thought it was good.
Good stuff. I haven't called anyone else out. Have you?
No, I did those three, and then just that mention.
And recasting then.
All right, so I got 2 for Mac.
Got 3 for Mac.
Oh, go on then. You go first. We'll go.
I reckon we might bound to have a crossover here.
Interesting.
Bound to.
I'd be very surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I'm going for
delighted.
A very obvious one.
Right, this is the one you think
just because they look very similar.
Oh, okay.
Chris Christopherson.
I did look at Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't put him down. Yeah, he could.
Okay, over to you.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Ooh.
Because again, at the start, sort of brash drinking. Yeah, whatever. Fuck this, I'll do what I want. Sort of thing.
A bit of a diehard.
It is a bit because then he has to do the turnaround and drive the group through. So yeah, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, okay, can see that. Nick Nolte.
I looked at Nick Nolte as well, but didn't go with it. Yeah, fair enough.
He'd definitely do his. I mean, he could do definitely the first part of that very well. The drunken, drunken falling apart thing. But I could definitely see him doing the second half.
Yeah, not bad shout. Gary Sinise.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So similar, I would say, to my Tom Berenger.
After
seeing him in Platoon, I was like, oh, he could do this kind of...
Do you know, the only thing Tom Berenger's missing, he's not quite charismatic enough.
Yeah, a bit more enigmatic, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's not quite got that first part of it. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Not bad.
There you go. I've not recast anyone else.
Well, I got a couple for Blair.
Which one was that then?
The guy who has the breakdown.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he is internalising all of this, and he takes it, and he very much does internalise it as well. They're looking to him to figure it out. He internalises it. The anguish essentially drives him to the edge, and he breaks down. He doesn't break down in a helpless way. He goes, "I've got to do something." Thinking about that man of action. So when I thought about those things, I thought, we've talked about someone exactly like this recently.
Emily Blunt.
No. And Martin Sheen, I think would be excellent in that role. I think he could really do that. And I've got an honourable mention for Tobin Bell.
Oh yeah, there's Jigsaw dude.
Yeah, again, because I feel like he's got that thing where I could definitely see him blowing up, but I think he's got that weird sort of anguish sort of. But no, Martin Sheen would be my first choice now.
Cool.
Couple for Childs.
Go on then.
Brash and menacing. So Peter Green.
Who's Peter Green?
He was Zed in Pulp Fiction. He was Dorian in The Mask.
Oh right, yeah.
And then, who maybe a touch different, but I could definitely see the menacing side. Ed Harris.
Oh, he's made an appearance before on a recasting.
Oh, quality Ed Harris.
Wasn't he our recasting for...
It was my recasting for Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Kilgore. When you were like, nobody could do this, I was like, there's somebody who's exactly the same.
Yeah, sure. They're okay. They're decent. Good effort. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And that is the end of part 1. Tune in later in the week for part 2.